Stage 3, just to note, the names for your site, whether it's kineticbistro.com or kineticbistro.com/index.html, they're referring to the same site. So that's the same page. The index.html or index.htm page will be your default homepage for your site. All right, we are going to rename some of our pages on our site for search engine optimization. With your Kinetic site open, click on the Menu 1 HTML page and change the name to Dinner Menu. I've already done it here, but you just simply highlight it and change the name, and then change the name for Menu 2 to Lunch Menu. Remember, for naming conventions, to only use lowercase, use numbers 0 to 9. Do not use caps, do not use any symbols, use hyphens and underscores only, and no spaces. Update all the pages after you change the names to Lunch Menu and Dinner Menu. And then we're going to create our document titles for individual pages. Open up your index.html page and go ahead and click on Split View so you can see the code. And we can see that our first line of code is always going to be doc.html. It's showing us the HTML page, and then our heading contains our title, which for yours should read untitled since you haven't given it a title yet. So the untitled name will be your default. Remember, this title is not going to actually show up in your browser page. It's going to be at the top of your tab of your browser. So it's just the title of your page. Select your title where it says Untitled and go to Find and Replace. And where it says Untitled, go to Replace and just type in Kinetic Bistro, pipe Lancaster, California, and then we're going to add pipe Gourmet Casual Dining. And you can find that pipe usually above your backslash on the Mac keyboard. And then we're just going to add a space at the end here. Go ahead and replace the untitled text with this title and go ahead and click on Replace All. I'm going to go to my browser here, which I've got set up. I'm going to select Chrome, and then you can see the title on my tab here reading the title that we just input. And go ahead and click Replace All to replace all your titling text, and click Yes to proceed. Look at the title in your Properties panel, and then you can add that Gourmet Casual Dining if you haven't already. Turn to page 54 in your textbook and go ahead and update the titles for all the other pages on your site, including your contact, events, menus, and then be sure to save and repeat the process. To save time, I'm not going to go through all those steps. The last two steps we're going to do is cloak a folder on our site, and then we are going to delete the site. When we cloak a file or folder, we're simply hiding it so that it does not upload to the final web server. We can still access the files and we can still uncloak it, but that way we don't have to unnecessarily upload files onto our server that are not going to be used on our final site. When you go to your Kinetic site, control right click and make sure that cloaking is enabled. I want to cloak this resources folder, which contains our Photoshop tables file. We don't want to upload a Photoshop file to our final web server, so I'm going to cloak the entire resources folder by just controlling right click, going to cloak, cloaking, and then cloak. And you can see the red slash telling me that the file is now hidden and will not be uploaded to the server. And then you can always refresh that. And then if you want to uncloak it, simply control right click again and you can uncloak. Now I'm going to close my index page and I'm ready to export my site, so I'm complete with managing it. I'm going to go to Manage Sites in my Files panel, select the Kinetic site, and the first step I want to do is export the currently selected site. And that allows me I'm backing up my settings, and it allows me to save all my settings. So I'm not actually deleting the site, I'm just exporting it currently from Dreamweaver so I can work with another site if I want to. So you can select your root folder, and it's going to save it with the STE extension. I've already saved mine, so I'm going to cancel. I'm not going to save it again. And then once it's saved, you're good to go, and you can delete the current site by just clicking on the minus icon. It says you cannot undo this action, but I've already exported and saved it, so I'm good to go. I'm going to click yes and done. And if I wanted to go back to import that site again, I would just click on import site and select this site that's backed up and open it up again.